So I think this is going to be probably the most unfiltered video I've ever done. There's not going to be a lot of editing on here. And I will include some audio clips to support exactly what I'm saying. But last night, April 27, 2023, was the 2023 NFL Draft. The best night for a lot of these kids that have been playing football pretty much all their lives. They've known nothing else. And especially be a first-round pick, not only the first overall, but just being chosen in the first, second, any one of these rounds is such a privilege for these guys. And they're starting not only the next chapter of their lives, but the first chapter of their some of their professional careers, you know, in a profession that's going to garner them a lot of money, and they're going to be responsible for a lot of people and their families' livelihoods and things like that. That's already enough pressure going into this. But I did want to speak on Jalen Carter, because what I saw last night was absolutely blasphemous. And then what I seen today from Reuben Frank, an NBC Philadelphia sports reporter, and the questions that he asked at the press conference last night to Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni was just out of control. And just to preface this, I'm not an Eagles fan whatsoever. I'm more so defending the situation more than anything. Now, everybody knows about the Jalen Carter situation. I don't need to go into details of exactly what happened. But what I will say is that, you know, as I'm pulling some stuff up here, if you guys didn't know, there's a car crash that they thought he was involved with. They killed a teammate and a staffer at Georgia. Carter was sentenced 12 months of probation along with a $1,000 fine, 80 hours of community service after the death of his teammate Devin Willock and a team staff member in Chandler LaCroix. So this was coming out as of March 16th. So over a month later, and here we are. Jalen Carter sitting on the best day of his life, and ESPN has the gall, the balls, whatever you want to say, as he's being chosen, as he's making that walk down to grab his hat from one of the draft staffers, to take that very first picture, for you to see his raw emotion, for him to hug Roger Goodell, for everything to come together after he received a phone call from the Philadelphia Eagles. It is his time. At the number 9 pick, the Eagles traded up to grab this guy. It's for him to be with his teammates. And ESPN throws this graphic up of everything that's happened up to this point. Regardless of how you feel about the situation, this is the best day of this young man's life. And it's hard for me not to sit here and get a little angry about what had happened last night. And I'm not sure if a lot of you guys caught it, but I'm going to play an audio clip from, I believe it was Mike Greenberg. And I know he has to work there and, you know, and say the things he has to say, but I'm going to play the clip of exactly what he had said, you know, after he had got drafted, as he's walking onto the stage. And I think it's just absolutely distasteful. Go ahead and take a listen.
So there it is. The football part of his story is easy. 6 sacks, 103 tackles, caught a touchdown, 3 sensational seasons at Georgia, a former 5-star recruit out of Apopka, Florida. But as we discussed earlier at great length, the complicated part of the story, pleading no contest to charges of reckless driving and racing stemming from an incident in which 2 people were killed. So this was, in its own way, the most difficult decision of this draft. Let's go to Shefty and Chris Mortensen for the...
So after hearing that, I'm not sure if you guys are angry, if you guys agree. I don't know if you guys know there's a lot of layouts happening at ESPN. And whoever decides to approve this, the production manager, how can people just sit in the room? Because as a graphic designer, I know things have to go through, you know, one approval after another approval after another approval for all this stuff to go and be put on, especially national television. This is not a, you know, one of their shows that you have to catch after the fact. This was live. This is a lot of eyeballs on this. And it's almost embarrassing, not only for Jalen Carter, but for his family. Not only for his family, but for his teammates. Not only from his teammates, but for his coaches. Not only from his coaches, but the people that live in his hometown. For the University of Georgia. For the people that were involved in this car accident. Like, their families. Like, to be reminded of something so terrible as his kid has had a tough road up to this point. I'm not taking sides here or there. I'm just saying, why are we so insensitive? In a sensitive world is actually unbelievable to me, and why more people are not talking about this. Now, let's get over to the press conference and the ignorant question or the ignorant statement that was said by Reuben Frank at NBC on the situation with Jalen Carter. Go ahead and take a listen.
Jalen on a Zoom call right after the pick. It's only a Zoom call. He just got drafted. I understand it's kind of unusual circumstances for the kid. But he was asked a few times about the incident in Athens, and he didn't come across, at least to me, as accountable about it. I know you guys are big on accountability.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair, Reuben. You just said that. I mean, what do you want him to talk about, an active investigation at that time? I mean, at the end of the day, he just got drafted, and, you're asking him, you're putting him on the spot on that. And so
what I'm asking is, what was his, when you talk to him about it?
I think it's hard on a Zoom to feel out a person's heart and their accountability.
With you and what he learned from it, how he grew from
Yeah,
it.
I just don't think it's fair how you said that you didn't feel like
you're
that.
being overly critical of a kid who's trying to enjoy the best night of his life. And I think for us, obviously
it's a very big part of.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
So I obviously listening to that, you can hear the frustration in Howie Roseman's voice. You can hear the frustration in Nick Sirianni's voice as they're trying to defend their pick. I mean, what other situation do you want this guy to go to? You're surrounding him with teammates that are happy-go-lucky. Nakobe Dean is being, I don't know if you guys seen in the play in the 2021 national championship when Nakobe Dean was holding his teammates accountable. Like, you're surrounding them with great team members. Jalen Hurts, such a leader. You're surrounding them with great people, and this is what people were expecting from him. The only other place that I think he could go where he would be able to turn himself around would be somewhere like New England. But to be honest, this was the perfect place for this kid. And time again, the people in the media, the people at ESPN, the people on Twitter, the people everywhere that disagree with this whole decision are just ruining these young guys over and over and over again and acting like we have not made mistakes in our life ever. It absolutely drives me nuts. And as a guy that covers football and a guy who, how I feel certain ways about Trevor Lawrence and people like that might not be so popular. And I know I said what I said about Christian Gonzalez last night, that I think it's going to be a bust, but I think that because of his on-field play and what I watch. Do I wish ill will on these kids? Absolutely not. I wish all these kids come out and prove me wrong. I'll be the first one to make a video. There's been plenty of videos on my channel where I've eaten crow, but the just gall of what happened last night leading up to this morning and everything, I have to take myself and just sit back and I had to express the fact that how disgusted I am to actually be part of football media at this point in time, that we constantly let these media members get away with what they're getting away with and ruining young kids' best days of their life outside of, graduating and getting married and things like that. This is the one thing that they're going to hold on to. This is how they're going to provide for their family. This is how they're going to bring generational wealth. How do you know what Jalen Carter is going to do later on in his career? Shame on you, media. Shame on us as media members for trying to get clicks. This is not about that. I will not be monetizing this video either, for those that are asking. I will not. I just want to make sure that I was able to have a platform where I feel like my voice is heard too. And Jalen Carter, I'm not a Georgia fan. I'm definitely not a Philadelphia Eagles fan. But if you know me, I buy jerseys all the time. I am tempted to go on NFLshop.com and be the first one in line to buy your jersey and root for you your whole career, because I do believe people make mistakes and I do believe people can turn their lives around. And I love to see a comeback story just like Tyrann Mathieu. Give Tyrann Mathieu a call. I know you guys weren't in the same situation. Give Patrick Peterson a call. Hang on to somebody like Tyrann Mathieu, hang on to Patrick Peterson, and I'm sure your teammates are going to embrace you, and you're surrounded by the right guys. And I wish nothing but success for your career. And on the other side of that, people at ESPN, people at NBC Sports that allow these media members to get away with it. I know I don't curse on this channel, but fuck you and have a good day.